country in a European scale. We have neighbors, Sweden, Norway, and Russia, and we have lots of water around us. It's said that Finland is kind of an island because the most of the people are living by the coast, and then the easiest access is by plane or by boat. There are no bridges or tunnels yet, but there is a discussion to build a tunnel to Estonia. And then we, of course, have the long border together with Russia. The Finnish population in Finland is about 5.6 million people. It's not too tight to live here. It's about 16 people per square kilometer. But of course, most of the people are now living in the cities, also in Finland. The urbanization happened a little bit later here in Finland and compared to the Europe in general, and compared to Sweden also. And we still have a bit more people living in rural areas if you compare it, for example, to Sweden. And what is visible here, the Finnish people are getting old, and the share of old people is actually pretty big compared to the other European countries. So this is kind of problem also for our fire and rescue services. Lots of people are getting retired in coming decades. Here you can see on the map the green is rural areas, and the yellowish orange is countryside, and then the red dots are the biggest cities. We are known from the forests and lakes, and our welfare is very strongly based on the forest usage. And now it's a technology is another thing that gives the wealthy for us. And now it's a little bit smaller and bigger stuff also here with the technology stuff. And we are also ranked the happiest country in the world 50 years in a row now. And we are known as silent and maybe shy people who likes to have a lot of space between each other. Corruption rate is pretty low here, and the Finnish people have a high trust for official organizations, and the firefighters and the rescue department is usually on a top 3 or something like that. So as a emergency worker here, it's pretty much appreciated. The Finnish rescue services history. It began before the Turku Volunteer Fire Brigade, but this is the first fire brigade, the 1838, after the Turku Great Fire, 1827. And then the first professional fire brigade was in Helsinki, and a little bit later in Turku in 1860s. 1930s, we got the first Fire Act, and it said that the state is supervising the work and the system, and the municipalities arranges the fire service. And they were free to arrange it like that they could use a volunteer or they could use professional. There were some rules that if it's the city is big enough, you need to have a professional and then some volunteer who assist the professionals. And then there came new laws, 60, 75, 99. The system remained more or less the same, but of course the laws were following the society's development. There came more tasks for the fire, and here is the rescue services also, and then there's also Civil Protection Act combined to the Rescue Operations Act and so on. The next little bit bigger change came in 2003, new Rescue Act, and this is the change from the municipalities to operate together the regional fire departments. So the municipalities needed to do it together to arrange the rescue services in Finland. We developed 22 rescue departments. I show you later a map about it. And then now, actually, we are on the edge for the next big step here, the red dot on the right corner. I talk you a little bit more afterwards about this also. Today, the Finnish Rescue Services vision is to have the good safety culture in Finland and the most effective rescue services in Europe. Not very small promises, and there's lots of work to do this and reach this case in Finland. And here is our values: humanly, professionally, reliably. In cooperation, we do the rescue services. Here you can see the Finnish Rescue Services core. The Ministry of the Interior Department for Rescue Services is guiding and preparing the legislation for the rescue services. The regional rescue departments are arranging the rescue services on the field, and then we have lots of volunteer fire brigades and part-time rescue personnel who is doing the job, who has also hands-on on field. Then we have Emergency Response Center agency, and this agency is following the departments that they fulfill the requirements for the services. They follow the law, and they can do the job in time, and they are efficient and appropriate in the work. Actually, I said it wrong. Emergency Response Center agency is the alarm central. The regional state administrative agency is following the rescue department and the arranging the services. So sorry for that. So the Emergency Response Center agency is the alarm center. And then we have the Emergency Services Academy, who is educating most of our rescue staff. And then here in this picture, of course, you cannot read the small text there. Actually, it's in Finnish, but this is from my last year work. It's I tried to identify all actors in Finnish rescue services who are cooperating or who are arranging the services. The red boxes are volunteer, non-governmental organizations. The blue ones are public sector, and then the orange one is commercial actors, and the lines are there, the connections, how they are connected to each other. But it's about 70 different actors that I was able to identify, and I know now that I'm missing some of them. It's not complete. The Finnish Rescue Services, what we are doing here, here we have 5 big tasks. It's preventing accidents. We prepare ourselves to all the risks that are necessary to prepare. Then we handle the rescue operations. In Finland, it's we take care of most of the rescue operations. It's everything from wildfires to inland water rescue. Some of the fire departments have ambulances. They take care of the ambulance service. But every fire department has at least the medical first response service. So they go and assist the ambulance, or if it's a long time that the ambulance can reach the patient, then the fire department go and give the first response in the medical tasks. And then, of course, international cooperation here as a 5th one. Operational preparedness. We have a system here that every fire department has to do a 4-year plan. How they going to do the service for the municipalities and for the region. And then we have this nice formula that counts risk class for every square kilometer in Finland. And it's divided to 4 different classes. The first class have to be reached in 6 minutes, the second class in 10 minutes, third one in 20 minutes, and the fourth one in 40 minutes. And if it's not possible in 40 minutes, if there is some activity, for example, if there is a hotel or something, then they have to do some very precise cautious preparation so that they can handle themselves, and they do some extra work for fire and other safety things. In addition for this, of course, the local risk assessment is necessary. This formula takes into account population and the floor area of the buildings, and it doesn't know if it's if the risk is from the traffic or from the tourism or something like that. But actually, the formula follows pretty well where the accident happens, whatever accident it is. And here you can see an example from Lappland city that here in city center where there's a lot of buildings and lots of people, maybe some industrial places, then it's red, it's class 1, and then the orange is class 2, and the green one is class 3, and then the rest is class 4. And this is kind of the base for organizing the services so that where the fire stations are located and so on, because they really have to reach it, and the regional state administrative agency is following that the rescue departments can reach the places in a time. And actually, the rule at the moment, they are renewing the guidance, but the rule is now so that they have to reach at least half of the tasks in 6 minutes here in a red one, and in 10 minutes here in orange yellow one. Good. How the fire departments and stations looks in Finland. We have more than 800 fire stations. Like I said, it's quite long and wide country. The fire stations, the fire station network covers most of the areas where the people are living. The places where there are more lots of accidents, and it's a long way to the nearest fire department. It's usually just roads and not much more around. So where the people are living, we have fire and rescue services almost everywhere. 95 fire stations just with the professional staff 24/7. Usually it's 1 minute or 1.5 minutes the time they are out from the station. And then we have more than 730 fire stations with volunteer staff, volunteer actors, and in many stations it's volunteer and professional. And it can be that there's 1 or 2 professional. Sometimes it's only daytime, the professional stuff, and sometimes it's 24/7. But it can be like 1 person who is leading the calls. Then if something happens, and then the volunteer are the hands-on people. If you watch the map, the red dots are the professional ones, and then the blue ones are volunteer stations. And then the dividing to the regional fire departments is not very easy to see, but for example, the northernmost number 22 is the Lapland department. So it's the biggest one in the largest area to arrange the services. And here down, number one is Helsinki, small area, but they have lots of people here. What's going to happen in 2.5 weeks? From the municipalities, the services will be changed to well-being services counties. So we are developing in Finland new governance level, and all healthcare, social services, and fire and rescue services will be arranged in this new well-being services counties. And the financing will also change from the municipalities to the state financing. But all well-being counties will have own governance, and they can decide themselves how they're going to share the money between healthcare and between the rescue services. But if I remember right, someone can correct from the Finnish people if you know it better, but I think it's something like 3% the part that the rescue services is taking from the whole budget, because the healthcare is so much bigger service sector compared to the fire and rescue services. So here's another picture. Here's just mentioned there's 21 well-being service counties, and then Helsinki and Ahvenanmaa are exceptions. Helsinki is the capital of Finland, of course, and they're gonna have an exception. They arrange the healthcare and the rescue services by themselves, and then the Ahvenanmaa is they have autonomy and they arrange everything themselves. But the rest of Finland will be under the well-being services counties. It's also a big change for the staff. It's about 200,000 people whose employer will change now in 2.5 weeks. And then we come to fire department personnel in Finland. We have about 6,300 people working in the fire departments and 4,000 firefighters altogether. And then we have about 15,000 part-time or volunteer firemen. And here we can see that the fire and rescue service is how the work hours are shared. So it's fire and rescue, some paramedics, and then prevention and safety services and administration. So the fire and rescue services and operations takes the biggest share of the workload that the fire departments has. Statistics from the calls. In Finland, we have altogether about 110,000 calls per year. It's not changing too much. 12,000 fires, structural fires, around 5,000, and then wildland fires from 2,000 to 4,000 something, depending how dry and hot and wet the summers are. But to mention, in Finland, it's usually it's not very big scale forest fires. Of course, the most of the forest fires are because of the human action, and then usually we find them quite fast, and then we have a good forest road network, so it's quite relatively easy to reach the places. So last summer, we 1.5 years ago, we had a big fire, and I think it was like, was it 200 hectares? So it's not huge if you compare to the Canada, Alaska, or Russia, where the fires are really burning long, and it's large areas that are difficult to reach. Medical first response, 20,000 to 25,000 calls per year. We have about 20 to 60 persons dead in structural fires and traffic accidents, 200, 300 persons per year. And the cost for the whole rescue system is about 430 million euros. So it's about $450 million. Fire and rescue education. The biggest education academy is in Pelastusopisto. It's in eastern Finland. Kuopio is the city, and most of the staff has got their education here. And then we have Helsinki Rescue School, and the Helsinki Rescue School trains the Helsinki firefighters who they train it for their own rescue department. But of course, with the same degree, you can change. If you get the degree from Pelastusopisto in Kuopio, then you have small short course in Helsinki, because they have some task that is not in other places in Finland, like the metro and underground train and so on. Some tunnels and things that are only in Helsinki. Firefighter education is 1.5 years. Then if you want to be a sub-officer, you have to have on a base the firefighter. Then you study 1 more year. Then you can lead the fire truck. And then fire officer, it's a bachelor level degree, so it's 4 years. And then the emergency academy also trains the emergency response center operators, and it's 1.5 years study also. Emergency Response Service Agency, this is a little bit different than in many countries. So we have in whole Finland only 6 stations who takes the calls from the whole country. So if you are in high up in Lapland and you call to the emergency number 112, the call goes to Oulu, that is like 600 kilometers away, or can be 600 kilometers away. If it's very crowded in Oulu and they don't have resources to answer, then the system is forwarding the call to the next station who has free resources. So the system is built like that. From the same number, fire, ambulance, police, and also the urgent social service. So all these services comes from the same number in Finland. And here are all the sources for the pictures that I stole from the online internet. Yes, I think I just checked that if we have any questions. No, any questions here in chat, but we can have the questions after Ville has given his presentations. So please, Ville, floor is yours.
Thank you. So I forgot to tell you what I do here in Lapland Rescue Department. My title is a fire officer, and now I'm on my working shift here in the Lapland Rescue Department situation room. So I am responsible for whole Lapland, and if you see the maps that Joel showed, it's quite big area that I'm responsible of. So I'm working as a fire and rescue commander or incident commander. How do you say it in different countries? But we say it's fire and rescue commander, and whole Lapland is my responsibility until tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. And I wanted to use this opportunity to give a little information about our Arctic Rescue Team, which is a joint team between other fire departments, especially dear colleagues from Sweden and Norway here tightly, because we are here, and of course if you need help, we are more than happy to help you across the borders, and of course we have those bilateral agreements also. So I think if you need our resources, it's quite easy to come to your countries. But little PowerPoint, of course. Can you see it? Joel, wink me if you can see it.
We can see it, but it's not full screen yet. So if you can
now it is
full screen. Yeah, now it's good.
Yes. So I can't see anything. If you want to ask, please ask the questions after the presentation. But if there's some urgent questions, of course, just open the mic and ask. So the Arctic Rescue Team, what it is, it's the joint team between the four of the northest fire departments in Finland. And as Joel said, in 2023, in January, 2 of these fire departments are joining together. So next year, there's only 3 fire departments who are involved in this Arctic Rescue Team. And here you can see the blue area is where we work and where our fire departments are. So it's almost half of the Finland that we are covering and these fire departments are covering. So it started about 4 years ago, and all of these fire departments signed a joint agreement to build up this kind of a team. And our chief executive officers of all of these 4 fire departments were the people who signed this agreement. And 2019, we started recruiting the people, and I think we have quite a lot of people, and every year we are recruiting more people to this team. But what was the objectives in 2018? Of course, to create a new performance capability in northern operational area for 4 rescue departments. Of course, a tool for operational activities and for preparedness. And of course, the knowledge can also be used by the safety and security services, fire inspections and stuff like that. And of course, the big deal for us, of course, it's that this formation and team can also be used everywhere in Finland, nationally for various kind of assignments and incidents. And in 2018, the formation had plans to fulfill the requirements for the forest fire module in European Union Civil Protection Mechanism pool. And we had some conditions that we had to get the separate EU funding for the project, and we got it, but we are not forest fire fighters. And next slide, we're gonna give you more information on what kind of a module we have. And this is important also that this activity also creates a new career path for rescue personnel. And we, of course, we have every level workers here. We have, of course, management, fire officers, sub-officers, and of course, firefighters. And this last sentence here, it has been a good thing that we are training the special stuff in Arctic Rescue Team. So, and of course, we can give this knowledge, of course, to the normal working shifts, and give some kind of a training to our own working shifts and the daily basis and the normal like weekly training. And not so many of our firefighters have, for example, lots of experience of technical rope rescue, and we are training that quite a lot. So it has many good things also in the normal daily routines. What kind of personnel we have? That is the list of personnel what every fire department has to have in this team. 2 fire officers, 3 sub-officers, and 12 firefighters. In Lapland, today we have 22 personnel altogether, and last week I put the new applications to the emails that I got the permission to get 5 more people in this team. And summer 2020, the total strength was 69, and I just checked it. It's almost the same, maybe 65. There has been a few guys who have moved away, so we have to fulfill their places. So all 4 fire departments, 69 person were working in this Arctic rescue team. And of course, I have to mention it at this point that this is like the extra job for you. Normal job for these guys, it's firefighter or sub officer or fire officer, and this is like voluntary stuff. And of course, we get paid if we are training or going on some kind of alarm or stuff like that. So it's not. You have to be a volunteer to take part of the team, but of course you get paid for your lost time. And for the agreement, there is also that if there's happening a big forest fire, for example, here in Lapland Rescue Department, and we are alarming the Arctic Rescue Team, all the 3 others and January 2 others are providing us one fire officer, 3 sub officers, and 9 firefighters to help Lapland if there's some kind of big incident going on. So about the international environment. We got the high capacity pumping module. We have 2 bigger pumps. There's a photo in the end of the presentation, but we can transport the water, lots of water. And of course we can do it in a floods. And of course we can also transport water to the bigger forest fire, for example. And the goal in 2023, next year is a big year for us. We are taking part of the certification or classification. I don't remember what was the real exercise name, but we are getting the certificate next year in Poland. I think it was in September. And after that, we are in European Union Civil Protection Mechanism for 5 years. Let's hope that everything works well. And Oulu Koillismaa Rescue Department has the main responsibility in this project. And even if some of the things has been pretty hard, because even in these days we have teams here we have people all over the world, and it works well, but Oulu is like 300 kilometers away from us, but the information still doesn't always come right away to us. So there has been lots of questions, but let's hope that we get this module working right next year, and we get the certification. We're working in the voluntary pool. What kind of operations we can do with the Arctic Rescue Team? Of course, the forest fires. We can do the management and of course putting out the fires. Flood control. For example, this place where I now, Rovaniemi, this is really floody area, and it can happen a big flood here, and almost half of the city will wet. So it's good that we have our own capability to tackle with these floods and pump the water. And of course, as the name says, we are also, sorry, there's some messages coming on. Yeah, of course, the Arctic operations are one of our main tasks. We have been trained to go to avalanches, and of course the wilderness in Lapland especially. We have lots of wilderness here, so we have training to work on those wilderness and winter conditions. We've been training urban search and rescue, buildings, and Lapland Rescue Department area. We have lots of mines also. As I mentioned earlier, technical rope rescue, CPR and knee missions. And big goal, of course, for this team is to get the functional rescue personnel to an accident site. And now the best part, pictures. Here's a few pictures. I think this was one of the first trainings we had, technical rope rescue. rescue training, urban search and rescue, shoring exercise. We've been doing lots of cooperation here in Lapland with the military, and it's a matter of fact today at the morning I just met my colleague from military, and we went to see one site where we're going to train in. Let's hope that week 9 next year we're going to have a big training there in urban search and rescue. And of course we have lots of old Finn rescue team, which was the international team, which is the international team of Finland, which is guided by the emergency service called Academy Finland from Kuopio. And a few years ago they shut down the urban search and rescue from European Union voluntary pool, and we have lots of experts from there, and they are giving us training to do the urban search and rescue areas. Here's a picture. I think this is from Kiruna, Barents rescue exercise in Kiruna. And those Barents rescue exercises are also a good international environment to work together with other countries. And let's hope that 2024 we're gonna have the exercise in Norway. But as everybody know, the situation, almost everybody know the situation in Ukraine is quite difficult because Russia is always also part of the Barents Agreement. And there we were training together with Finn rescue team, technical assistant and support team, and they built us a camp and provide us food and all the support that we could survive on those harsh environment in Kiruna. And there's the tents that we use for sleeping, breathing exercises. This is always the best. I like to get my hands dirty. I don't want to be a management personnel and a fire officer in these exercises. I like to be the one who's using all the tools and shoring in the mines. And here's the picture of our pump, and it's FIHCP01. It's our module name. We have two similar types of pumps, and we can pump lots of water from place A to place B. Here's a picture from floods a few years back here in Rovaniemi. I'm somewhere over here now. And here's one of our guys doing some weightlifting with the bigger hoses. Thank you. Here's a picture from Kiruna. After Kiruna exercise. I think this is before social event because everybody looks quite normal.
Good. Thank you, Ville.
Yeah, thank you.
So this was the scratch of the Finnish rescue services. Do you have any questions so far? Yes, Patrick, please.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Nice to see you again. Thank you, Ville. I saw you in Kiruna a few years ago. It was nice to see. You're doing a great job. I wonder how long is your response time until you can get out and do the work you are trained for? if there are an incident?
Are you meaning internationally or nationally? If
First, Finland, in national, I wonder.
Yeah. 2 summers ago, there was a big forest fire in Oulu, and I think the first call came from us maybe 4 o'clock a day, and our team left from Rovaniemi maybe 7:30 in the evening.
Okay.
It took about 3 hours to sort things at home and get all the gear and what trucks are leaving with us and what kind of equipment we're gonna bring. So it's about, maybe nationally it takes about 2 to 4 hours to
Yes.
start the driving, and it took about 3 hours to drive to the site. So
Okay. That's fast. Anyway, I think.
yeah,
and
it was.
it's-
We were lucky that even if it was in the middle of the summer, there was not so many people at holidays, so we got the team together. And of course,
Yeah.
we are taking also other personnel. It doesn't have to be if we are going, for example, for a forest fire. The Arctic rescue team is like the leading of the operation, and of course, if we need lots of personnel, we can take normal professional firefighters or volunteers also from Lapland to help.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Then Michael asked, what is the nature of the bilateral agreements Finland has with its neighbors with respect to wildland fires? What criteria would activate these agreements for support too from Finland? Someone may know it better, but by the border area, especially between Finland and Sweden, the agreements are between the fire departments and between the fire departments and the municipalities in Swedish side. Then if it's further and bigger accidents further in the country, then the agreements are between the states. Do you agree, Ville? Do you know it better, or someone else from Finland? Do you know it better?
Yeah, in my point of view, it's just like you said. In the smaller daily basis accidents, it's between the fire department and the municipalities in Sweden. But of course, if there's some kind of bigger incident, bigger forest fire, and it takes lots of time, and of course you can alarm help from Finland also in the national level.
Yeah. Yes, and then I think in Finland it's the rescue department in the Ministry of Interior who takes care of the alarming and so on. They have a standby guy 24/7 there who can handle the call to the abroad. Yes, more questions. I don't know who was first. Let's see here if it says Parola, please. Probably your mic is muted.
Yeah, now Per-Ola
Yes, we
Blind
can
here
hear
in Kiruna, Sweden. We talked about the cooperation between the countries, Nordic countries, and that's like Kiruna municipality. We are connected to Norway and to Finland. We have land border with no water. Again, yeah, well, a small river on the Finnish side, on the border to Finland. But that's between, if I can call it, the county Norrbotten, and I think you can call the Finnish county Lapland or something like that. And then if it's bigger, then we can use the, well, I don't know how it works, the Barents Rescue Corporation. I think it's some kind of on ice in these days because of the Russian aggression against Ukraine. But of course it takes time. And if Sweden has big problem in the northern parts, then we must somehow call and to Norway and to Russia and to Finland and ask for help. But we have cooperation.
Good.
That was
Thank
the
you.
small part.
And then next one was Øystein. Please.
Yes, hello everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm sorry,
Yes, we can.
I don't have any camera because I'm at my home, so not at the office. So I'm sorry about that. Nice to meet you, everybody, and I'd like to thank Joel and Ville for a very interesting presentation. But I have one question. Joel, you talk about that it's the state who's going to finance the fire departments from 2023.
Yes.
Is it the municipal who is finance have the finance today?
Yes, it's the municipalities who finance it today. And for example, in Lapland, it's in Lapland County municipalities finance the whole rescue system in Lapland. And then the rescue department is deciding how to use the money and how to arrange the services according to the preparedness plan.
Yeah, okay. And I have a question also to Ville. You said the Arctic rescue team is volunteers, but the people they have a normally day job at the fire departments. They are not on stand in this Arctic rescue team.
Yeah, they are working as a firefighters or fire officers or sub officers here in Lapland Rescue Department, all the other joint rescue departments, and we are like, yeah, everybody is voluntarily taking part. Of course, we have criteria what you have to put out to get to this team, but it's not like you have to go. You will not stand by all the time with Arctic rescue team. And if, for example, Oulu Koillismaa needs Lapland Rescue Department's help, and the Arctic rescue team gets the alarm, you don't have to go. We are just trying to, everybody who can go and has a possibility to leave for example, work there for 48 hours or something like that. They just press OK to the alarm system, what we are using, but you don't have to go if the alarm comes.
Okay, I see. Thank you that's my questions for now.
Thank you, Øystein. And then Jason, please.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for this very informative presentation. So I'm Jason Everett from Whitehorse, Yukon in Canada, and I find this extremely interesting to see how other fire services operate. Here in the Yukon, we're fairly isolated from the rest of Canada, and it proposes some unique challenges. But one question that I had is centered around your training academy, and whether somebody is interested in joining the Finnish Fire and Rescue Service. Do they enroll in the academy as a civilian and go through the training and then apply for positions, or are they hired and then put through the academy essentially by either the municipality or as you're moving towards the wellness county? Is it pre-employment, or is that training provided to them after the fact?
Usually, if I answer first, usually it works so that the person applies to the academy as a civilian, and the system, at least when I did it, it was so that first you need to go to do a medical check, then you do a fitness test, and then you can apply after you reach the certain level. Then you can apply to the school, and then at school they test you a bit more. There is some psychology tests, and then you run a Cooper test and you swim a bit, and then they choose the best for the training. At the moment, it's probably like 120 or 140 people they can train in a year, but there's a need for at least for like a double amount to train every year. But it's first you go to the training and then you apply for the jobs.
Thank you very much.
and then of course if you have some like a volunteer base, then you get some extra points for getting into the training into the academy. So it helps a bit, and actually it's pretty popular. Let's say like way to get to the rescue services is about 20 to 30% from the people who graduate. They have some volunteer background.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. More questions? Anyone? Zach, please. All right, probably just a moment if I got it right. So we're waiting Zach a bit to probably to open the microphone. I forgot to mention in Finland, it's especially in rural areas, it's common to cooperate with other officials. And for example, in Eastern Finland, it's very popular. It's common to have a border guard on fire department calls. Sometimes they are faster. They have equipment and they have training also for putting down fires or helping the car accidents and so on. So it's long distances and not so many people living there, but there are also some accidents. So they cooperate. It's very close cooperation. And low threshold cooperation in Finland between different authorities. Good. We still have about 5 minutes time. Chuck, did you have something? If you can't open your mic, you can also type in a chat box. Yes, so like I said, it's the border guard and then the volunteer, and then we have the hospitals, the regional hospitals who arrange also the ambulance services, paramedics. So it's actually not, it's most of the fire departments who are not arranging paramedics. They only do the first response in medical tasks. Ville, do you have any other comments for a question? If there are any other agencies doing medical response, rescue response, or wildland fire? We have volunteers for terrain rescue if it's lost person, and terrain rescue is fire department task, but if it's lost person, then it's police task. Yeah. Then Øystein has a question.
Yes, I'm just sorry I didn't introduce myself first time.
No problem, please.
So I'd like to do that. My name is Øystein Solstad and I'm working in Norway, in Tromsø, the capital of the north of Norway. And next year's summit is going to be in Tromsø. So I'm looking forward to see you all in Tromsø, the Paris of the North, next year. So I just say you're all welcome. We're looking forward to that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Øystein. This was an important message. Any other comments? Please feel free to give any feedback. I will do some feedback form and send it to you if you have some feedback. And it's also anonymous, so then you can be you can give your real opinion about this event. And of course, if later comes any questions, any comments, feel free to send a message to me or to others who are working with this project. No more comments. Looks like we are in time, and I was happy to have this many people online. Enjoy your day or your evening, what is coming and where. And I hope you see you online in our next webinar, probably in January. And I hope then we have online Swedish fire and rescue service.
Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas.
Ciao.
Take
Yes.
care.
Merry
Thank you
Christmas.
all. Merry Christmas.
Lucia tomorrow. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.